Hello?
Hello, Prince.
Yes.
This is Vanessa Bartholomew.
Where have you been?
You have just accessed the Akashic.
Welcome to the dawn. There are over 500 experiences to choose from.
Certainly not the one who put the thorns on his
Here's a sample.
Hey! How you doing? Nice to see you. Great to be seen by you. Welcome to a very special episode of 52 Weeks of Prince on JiveSide's Productions, all kinds of music type shite. If you haven't noticed by now, music for this fella is everything. Friedrich Nietzsche once wrote, "Without music, life would be a mistake." And when I read that at 21 years old, I was hooked on not only reading more of what that man had to say, but hooked on the feeling that I knew deep in myself was right on the money, going back as long as I can remember. So, to further get to know you out there, and for you out there to get to know me, we're relating with music, right? Music is called the universal language. And I believe that part of that definition, or part of that instinctual desire for that to be true, is that it can connect us. We can build relationships based on sound, based on vibration, based on how we respond to it. If you put on James Brown in a crowded room, you'll notice everyone will start kind of moving a little bit. They'll become a little more animated, and they're going to start talking more. Everybody's just energized. They're more interesting to each other. They're more interesting with themselves. They're just more turned on to the universe. And I think that great music does that. So, going back to my journey with music, the first two cassette tapes I ever owned were Billy Joel's Stormfront and New Kids on the Block Hangin' Tough. First CD I ever owned, I had to share with my brother, it was CNC Music Factory. 'Cause things that make you go, yeah. Flash forward, I asked for Michael Jackson's Dangerous for Christmas. I get 2 copies. I go to Sam Goody with my brother to exchange one for something else, and Metallica, the Black Album, is out at this time. Not only is it out at this time, but Nothing Else Matters has been on the air at this time. And I remember thinking, wow, I didn't know Metallica could sound like this. And, the CD is done. The oven just, there we go. It's getting ahead of me. I was like, wow, I didn't know Metallica could sound like this. And here I am looking at the top 10 albums on Billboard. They're on display at Sam Goody, and that Black Album is right there. I walked around the store for 20 minutes debating if I should buy this thing. And what does that mean if I buy this thing? And will I be forever changed? And is that a bad thing? And I walked home with it the whole way thinking, what have I just done? Well, what I did was I went from a child to a child in training. From Michael Jackson's Dangerous, thinking that was rock and roll, to Enter Sandman and never looking back. So, to dive into the records that I had, and to kind of experiment more with what it is I like, I started making mixtapes. I got a little Sony boombox. It had a CD player and a cassette deck, and whatever CDs I owned, I loved so much. I memorized all the songs, memorized the track listing, memorized the producers, the musicians. Never really memorized the lyrics, but memorized all the hooks, and then tried to put them in different orders for myself to further enjoy them. So I started making mixtapes. Now these mixtapes, I think, go back to my being in 5th grade or 6th grade. And I actually have some of them that I want to share with you. I don't know which ones I did when, but here we have something called Mrs. Cavalli's Recipe Mix, which has Them Bones, 99%, Downer, Seasons, Thunderstruck, Rooster, Flesh, Come As You Are, Hunger Strike, Holier Than Thou. So side A says the records I owned were Alice in Chains, Dirt, AC/DC Live, the Singles soundtrack, Temple of the Dog, Nirvana's Nevermind. That's what this one is. Couple more in here. The Fitsiv mix. Fitsiv. The Fitsiv mix is Smashing Pumpkins, Nirvana, Pearl Jam, False King mix. False King mix is L7, Meat Puppets, Hole, Green Day. Oh, I got a couple more. I'll just say it's probably the same bands, but we have the Bizzadilla mix, which is some Primus, some Dinosaur Jr., some Aerosmith, some Soundgarden. We have a La Capito mix, which is just more of the same, different songs, but same bands. And El Sominus mix. El Sominus. Yeah, same stuff. It's a Temple of the Dog, Breeders. You know, I was a teenager in the 90s. And, yeah, I can't believe I still have those. And I know I had more. And the cassette tape was just a really awesome thing to have around if you were born in the late 70s or in the, if you were born before 85, which I was. So anyway, flash forward why I'm making this video and why I think that you're going to dig what you're seeing and the information I have to give to you. So I've still been making mixtapes. And when you could burn CDs at home, that really made it even better. And I find that when you're connecting with people, for me personally, what kind of music are you into? If you're into the same music I'm into, we already have a jump off point to at least express ourselves. We might not agree, we might not even hear the same music in the same way, but we're already energized to share ourselves and to share opinions. And I found in the age of Napster and Kazaa and all that, everyone knew too much stuff. And you start talking to people and it's like, oh, I know this band, are you into this, are you into that, you should hear this, you should hear that. And it's stuff I've never heard of, it's stuff I'm not going to remember, I'm never going to look it up. And to not honor someone's recommendation, think about this, is to kind of blow them off. So if somebody's telling you, you got to check this out, you owe it to them and your respect of them and your relationship to them to check it out. If you don't, why the hell do you even know this person? Why do you even share anything with them? That's my opinion. So we have record stores are starting to go away and everyone's just knowing so much different shit. And here I am leaving the Midwest, coming back to the East Coast. So I have all these friends. This is college time for me now. This is 2003, 2004. And I'm leaving. And all these people I built these relationships with, who knows when I'll see them again. But if I send them mixtapes out of my collection as it grows, that's a way of me sharing who I am now with people I haven't seen. So I came up with an actual series, the JiveSide mixtape mailers. Volume 1 of JiveSide's mixtape mailer, which it helps if you own the actual records. And if you want a copy of any of these mixtapes off any of these episodes, just message, give me some information on how to get it to you, and I'll send you one of these babies. So the idea with the mixtapes is it's one song per artist represented in my actual physical collection across, now there are 12 volumes. A band like Alice Cooper Band and Alice Cooper the artist are two different things. Which brings me to just really quickly, what do I have in this collection? Well, these mixtapes are a way of me telling you what's in this collection. Volume 1 has these artists on it. Medeski Martin and Wood, James Brown, Public Enemy, Sly and the Family Stone, Meters, Parliament, Prince, Joshua Redman, Liquid Soul. A lot of amazing stuff on this. Some of my favorites, of course, ended up on volume 1. And in my collection here is all kinds of stuff. It's all alphabetized by artist and chronologically from earliest to latest release. I just happen to be pointing to Deep Purple. So I have my earliest Deep Purple record, which happens to be Shades of Deep Purple. And then my most recent Deep Purple record, which is Burn. I have bought Deep Purple records beyond Burn, and I have not kept them in my collection. Sorry guys, it's just how I feel. So, once I started getting into Prince, and this is the whole point of this being a 52 weeks of Prince episode, and I want to say my collection of Prince really started to look like a collection in 2006, was when I had maybe 10 records in my collection, and Musicology was a current release. Like, I was currently a fan for that, as was Rainbow Children, which was the first record that hooked me. That was the first record of Prince's I owned, and I'll get into that on another episode. Just my little personal Prince story. And the idea was to take the model of JiveSide's mixtape mailer, but use one song per album of Prince. I have 4 full volumes. That's 78 minutes of music on 4 different CDs. Not a single album repeated, with the exception of the first one, which we'll talk about in a moment. And also, I'm counting a record like Emancipation. Emancipation Disc 1 is its own album. So you will see a song from Emancipation Disc 1, Emancipation Disc 2, Emancipation Disc 3. Not only do I feel like that is a fair way to approach those albums, because every single one of those discs is a full album. Yes, they were packaged as one complete set, but they could have easily, and some of them were supposed to have been individual albums. And also, it just helped perfectly fit my entire collection of Prince onto 4 CDs. Now, I do have a volume 5 coming up because I have amassed even more, and we'll get to that. But I want to dedicate this episode to 2 guys that I've mentioned in the past episodes that have inspired me to even make YouTube videos, to even watch YouTube, to even just look on the bright side of today's world. And those 2 guys, I highly recommend all their content, and should they ever watch this, I hope they understand how much I take from them. And those 2 people are Dr. Fuck with Almost Human 56. His name is also Ralph Vieira, and he has a Ralph Vieira channel, but Dr. Fuck, Almost Human 56, and James Rolfe from Cinemassacre. Now, James just happened to make 2 episodes about playlists. He's a playlist junkie. He calls his things playlist junkies. I've been doing these mixtapes for years and literally just handing them out. As technology actually got better, it got harder to make CDs. I have a little oven, which we heard beep earlier. An oven. It's a CD duplicator. It's like this. I'll show it. It's big, and it lives under a table, and that's the only way I have to burn CDs. When I used to have, the old shit Dell computer that would just fire them one after the other. So let's move on to PrinceTape Volume 1. So we have JiveSide's mixtape mailers, volumes 1 through 12, and JiveSide's PrinceTape mailers. To be honest, I have yet to mail a single copy of this, so why don't you be the first one? So the idea, just like with 52 Weeks of Prince, is to not only enjoy my enthusiasm and my fandom of Prince, but also to educate people, to just say, here, listen to this, you're gonna love it. And you're gonna be surprised by it, and you're gonna hear stuff you didn't know, and you're gonna hear stuff that you didn't know you liked so much. Now, this is the only volume that repeats anything, but what it repeats is 2 of the segue bits off of the love symbol.
Hello?
Hello, Prince.
Yes?
This is Vanessa Bartholomew.
Where have you been?
I've been trying to interview you now for a long time. You're a hard man to track down.
What better way to start a Prince mixtape than with an interview being hung up on?
Son of a bitch hung up.
Welcome. You have just accessed the Akashic Records Genetic Information Division.
Family name off of Rainbow Children. Very important when making a mixtape to consider the transitions, to consider the ebb and flow. Prince is a master of putting records together. He's one of many. And a record needs to have moments where it doesn't stop, moments where it breathes, moments where it comes up, moments where it comes down, moments where it changes pace, moments where it just pushes it, keeps pushing that pace. Very important to have all the songs play back at the same level. So use your sound check on iTunes, and also no gaps between them. If there's a natural gap in the song, that's part of how I planned it. But a song like that segue into Family Name, it sounds like they were put together in the first place. Son of a bitch hung up. Okay? Family Name. Great song. Great jam. Awesome song. And that's followed up.
Feel better, feel good, feel wonderful. Feel better, feel better, feel good, feel wonderful. Hey!
Just like volume 1 of my mixtape, I went for some of my favorite artists. With the PrinceTape, I went for some of my favorite albums, or just some of my favorite songs. If you've seen my Lotus Flower reveal, you know how I feel about Feel Good, Feel Better, Feel Wonderful. And when we get to my Rainbow Children, you'll know how I feel about Family Name.
Feel good, feel wonderful.
Then we get to Calhoun Square.
Listening to the drummer, but you still want to have fun. It shouldn't be work. 2, 3, baby.
Off of Crystal Ball. And this is just one of those tunes that even Prince fans will be like, whoa, I've never heard that song. And definitely people who are just familiar with Prince. And then we get into this song off of this album. No wonder Prince thought he could go head to head with his own record by Warner Brothers, with his record on his own label, and expect his own label to win. Did he? Well, we'll have to wait till we talk about this record in the context of the slave trade. But the song, Shh, is just amazing. And I swear, this is what it must feel like for Prince to have an orgasm when his guitar solo hits. Dig. And then a little reprieve from Break It Down. I don't want nobody else to hear the sound. This love is private affair. Interrupt the flow, better not dare. We got to break it on down. Then we have
Vegas on the sea. Remember that ending? On the one. Who will be a guest in your tent? Certainly not the ones who don't want to repent and keep giving guns to the poorest of our nation's sons.
s.s.t. Who will be a guest in your tent? It's a record he did for the Hurricane Katrina. It's just 2 songs. There's the song and then there's the jam. I picked the song because we needed to transition from It's About That Walk to
Gentlemen, let's broaden our minds. Lawrence?
Yes, Batman, Party Man. As a kid, first of all, this movie is amazing. Watch it again and be reminded of how amazing Tim Burton's Batman is, the 89 Batman. With that scene where they play Party Man.
Gather round, everybody hail this king in town.
The best. We're going to Minneapolis Sound.
It's my song. Ooh.
Again, remember, this was built mostly off of the records I had in my collection at that time. So I guess PrinceTape Volume 1 was, this was the most recent record. This is 2007. But we have Old School Company. You know how I feel about that song. I know how you feel about that song. If you've heard that song, amazing song. Get some Old School Company after Party Man. Keep the future vibe going. And the tune we have on here, off Sign of the Times, it's not talked about enough, but Prince was a Frank Zappa fan. And this song right here is... I like it better than most Zappa, but it's very, very much, it's very much outside the box, and I love it, and I love that it's called Play in the Sunshine. And if you really have an imagination about joyous things in this world and in this universe, there's nothing better than playing in the sunshine. And I think the music and the song and the xylophones and just the arrangement is just amazing. That song kills me every time. Then, of course, because it's Volume 1 and I want to hit you hard, we're going to Purple Rain, and we're going with some Baby I'm a Star. There are a lot of great songs on this record, obviously. Baby I'm a Star, the way that song unfolds and is performed in the movie, the moment that it comes out in the movie, the time that in his personal career where this was his huge jump off moment, and there's a song called Baby I'm a Star, the fact that it's live, just like Purple Rain was in front of that crowd, and the fact that I hear new things every time I hear this tune, it's just amazing. Baby I'm a Star. And we go right from the live into more live with...
How long you been waiting? Well, I hope I can make it up to you.
There is video of this performance, which I highly recommend watching to see how Prince is just mugging and just smiling and just connecting with everybody while he's hitting those double stops, building that tension. Oh, it sometimes doesn't get much better than that. And then we go, I was only 16.
Guess that's no excuse. My sister was 32, lovely and loose. She don't wear no underwear. She said on me gets in her hair, and it's got a funny way of stopping the juice.
There we go. We get a little sister. Oh, sister. So good. She's the reason for my sexuality. So good. Sister. What a great song. Then we get one more segue off the single album.
Hello?
Vanessa?
I'm not recording this time. So how are you?
How are you?
Fine. Excuse me, but what's up with your voice?
The special phone, tone box.
A tongue box.
That goes right into the last song on this,
So why
Sacrifice of
don't you
Victor.
tell me the truth?
Again, back to the Zappa thing.
Why don't you tell me the truth?
What is sacrifice?
NPG and Mass Attack. Sonny, please.
Love Symbol. This is a kick-ass collection of songs, and they flow really great together. Put them together. Obviously, if you own them all on the same medium on CD, and you put them on sound check so they play back at the same volume, take out the gaps, it's going to sound like a whole new album. If you have some downloaded, some are off vinyl, some are off cassette, that's going to make it harder to hear the similarities, because it's all about context. Some people say Miles Davis is the greatest. Some people say Ramones are the greatest. If you put Miles Davis and Ramones in the right context, they can even follow each other if it's the right song, plays back at the same volume. You'll have the Miles Davis people loving the Ramones stuff, you have the Ramones people loving the Miles Davis stuff, and you have people who don't like either or know nothing about either, love both. Context is king. So, PrinceTape, Volume 1. I hope you dig it. I hope you have fun with it. Lord knows I do. And I just want to give from me to you. I'll catch you next time. I'll catch you at 3121 in, hopefully not another week. But I'll catch you next time. Also, Prince mixtape. JiveSide's mixtape mailer. Volume 1. That track listing again is right here. From Medeski Martin Wood to Joshua Redman. All killer, no filler, hot fire. Comment if you would like to receive these in your mail. I wish you well. I wish you fortune. I wish you health. I wish you wealth. And then I hope you can lend me $1. Peace. Oh, funny story about this. I can't believe I even own this. Another turning point from the Michael Jackson's Dangerous and then getting the Black Album by Metallica, which I talked about earlier, years before, maybe 2 Christmases before, which seems like forever when you're 10 or 11, I had asked for the Ghostbusters 2 soundtrack. Now, I must have been 3rd grade.
1989.
Because I really liked the Bobby Brown song on there. Well, I guess we're gonna have to take control. A friend of mine had it. I thought that was such a cool song. I'm sure we danced to it and had such a blast, and I just wanted a copy of it. So I can't believe I still own this. I got a copy of it. And as you can see, it says Ghostbusters 2, right? It has all the paint on it. But the actual magnetic tape is Steppenwolf's greatest hits. So I remember getting this, and I kept waiting for that Bobby Brown song to come on. It never did, but what did I hear instead? Magic Carpet Ride, Pusher, let it hang out, baby, let it hang out now. And you know what? Thank God there was a manufacturer's error. I can't believe I still own this. This is awesome. That, I think, really was I loved the shit out of it. I didn't even mind. It took me a good while to figure out that it was a different album. I was just like, well, maybe I remembered the soundtrack differently, but I wasn't complaining. This thing was awesome. So, it's like the universe wanted me to believe in rock and roll. It wanted me to make it its religion and for me to pray at the altar, and I do. No sacrifice, just time and money, as you can see. Time and money. The 2 things, more interchange than anything. The 2 things we can actually control is our time and what we do with our money. We might not be able to control how much time we have or how much money we have access to, but we can control how we spend that time with our money, which is what buying music is all about. You're paying for time and how you're going to spend it. So, I can't believe I own this. Yes, sir. Yes, ma'am. History in a box.
There!
Ooh.
In a word or two, shoot, I wanna do. No, not your body, your mind, you fool. Come here, baby. Yeah.
You sexy motherfucker.